Okay. So, hello everyone. Today we're gonna start with obviously the basics of cons. Before coming to that, I'm just trying to cover all the aspects from the perspective of algebra, just to give you an idea. Because when we'll start algebra, we'll start directly with quadratic equation, right? So, in this particular class, I'll teach you linear equation in two variable, polynomials. If this type of formula is coming up, how you need to deal with all this thing, right? Before starting the like classes and all, let us understand some terms. There are two things what you have heard of, right? एक होता है variable and there is something called constant. Fine. Variable means, let's suppose if I have to tell you कि, think of a number, or suppose, like let suppose this value is something like that, right? So in that particular case, what you tell is, so we can take it from A to Z, right? For example, if I'm telling, let's suppose A, right? If I'm telling just A, I mean to tell that कि A can be any value from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? But if I'm telling constant, let's suppose, tell me a constant number, right? Do you want to tell directly, sir, it would be 3, 4, 5, and all, right? So these are constant, right? So the first thing in algebra you should understand कि algebra is all about solving equation in variable format. Usually, you would have heard about x and y, right? Fine. Before moving to the next thing, let us understand, difference between degree and power, right? Let's suppose I wrote an equation in front of you. Right. If I'm going to ask you what is power of this equation, so you're going to tell, sir, there are various power, like 4, 3, 2, 1, and even we have 0 as well, right? If I'm going to ask you what is the power, right? For power, what you have terms? 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Whatever you feel out, ki bhai, this is the power, right? Now, if I ask you degree, the definition of degree is highest power of this equation. I'll come to why I'm taking your degree, why I'm telling you all this stuff. I'll come to that. But first, make it clarity in your head. If I'm telling what is a degree, so what is the highest power of this particular equation, that we call it as a degree. So for this, the degree would be 4. Right, fine. This is what the basic thing what you should know. Let us start with the first thing, that is linear equation in two variable, and then we'll come to polynomials, and like through that we'll come to various formulas and as well. Like let us start with linear equation in two variable or one variable. Right? If I'm telling you x plus 3 is 7, and I'm telling you to find the value of x, right? What do? You can tell directly, so shift it to this side, you'll be getting x as 4, right? But if I change it out, and then if I ask to find the value of x and y, would you be able to find constant value? Obviously a constant value, not like in the form of equation में तो आप बोल ही दोगे, sir, y we can write it as 6 minus x, and x we can write it as 6 minus y, right? That I know. But if I'm telling you to find the value of x and y, would you be able to find in this particular case? The answer would be no. Why? Because there are two variables. Fine. From here a concept generate. If 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 they want you to find the value of the variables, the number of variables you have, that number of equation you need. What I mean to say that if you have just two variables, then how many equation you gonna need? Two equation, but in the same variable what they are asking you to calculate. If I try to understand, अगर मैं इससे समझूं कि मेरे पास x plus y में दो वेरिएबल है, एक है आपका x and y, right? And if I'm gonna tell you, find the value of x and y, so what you wanna tell? So give me one more equation in same variable x and y. So if I'm gonna write this two equation, two unknown, right? So then in this case you will be able to calculate, right? Now let us understand the method. Then I'll come to three variables. Then I'll come to like zeros and roots and all, right? See, simple जो सबसे मतलब जो सबसे easy होता है, ठीक है, to find the solve the linear equation to it. There are three methods what you have read in 10th, right? But as in cat, like we don't have much time, कि हम सारे methods देख सकें. So I'm just letting you know the easiest method, what you can use and solve it directly. Okay. For example, let's suppose I have two equations, not in this particular format. Sorry. Right. Right. ठीक है. And I'm gonna tell you कि find the value of x and y. Right? देखो, एक होता है सब्स्टिट्यूशन मेथड. इसमें से आप x की वैल्यू निकाल के यू टेक आउट द वैल्यू ऑफ x फ्रॉम s एंड यू सब्स्टिट्यूट इट हियर, राइट. एक होता है एलिमिनेशन मेथड. नाउ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज एलिमिनेशन मेथड. एलिमिनेशन मींस you have to eliminate one variable. Either you eliminate x or either eliminate you y. Depends on you what you want to eliminate, right? Now, if you want to tell me, sir, how will you eliminate, right? So, see, can you notice one thing here? Just a second now. Right. And second one was, yes, let's suppose f1. Yeah, right. Fine. Now, understood. If I'm telling you to eliminate x, right? So what you need to do? You need to make this two things equal, right? मतलब जो variable है x and x, right? The term what is written with this particular coefficient of x, right? You have to see coefficient means if I'm writing ax, right? If I'm asking you what is the coefficient of x, so you're gonna tell a, right? The constant term that is attached to that particular variable is called coefficient of that particular term, right? Now try to understand. A is some constant thing. Don't get confused between variable and constant, right? A is some constant, right? Now if I'm gonna tell you कि भाई मुझे a को eliminate करना है, right? So what you gonna tell? Sir, do one thing. You multiply this equation with d and multiply this equation with a. So if you wanna tell, if you wanna ask for why you did that, so I'm gonna tell you. If I multiply this with d, what I'll be getting? Right. And similarly, if I multiply with a, what I'll be getting? Right? Can you notice one thing? That these two terms are now equal. Right? So if I gonna subtract these two equations, obviously x will be eliminated. Now you'll be having just one variable, that would be y. You just need to solve for y, right? Hello. Clear? मैं एक इक्वेशन लिख के सॉल्व करता हूँ, but this thing is clear, right? What we are doing in elimination, we are eliminating one variable, and how you gonna do that? By making the coefficient equal. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. अब आप बोलोगे सर, what if I wanted to eliminate y? कर सकते हो, क्यों नहीं कर सकते हो? Do one thing. इसको आप सेम कर दो, इसके कोफिशिएंट को सेम कर दो. उसके लिए व्हाट यू नीड टू डू? हियर यू नीड टू मल्टीप्लाई विद f, और यहाँ पे आपको क्या मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा? b, right? Why? Because this will be what? bfy, and this will be what? bfy. Then this will be eliminated, and obviously you can get the value of x. Hello. This thing is clear ना? ये clear है ना सबको?
Yes.
Right. This thing is clear ना? Fine. Okay. kg clear है ना?
हाँ सर क्लियर है.
Okay, fine. See, this is if you're gonna ask me, sir, why you're teaching all these basic things and all, right? देखो यार, to be honest ना, जब we'll start algebra ना, in that there will be many terms that will be coming up. Inequality मैं पढ़ाऊंगा, quadratic पढ़ाऊंगा. This all things will occur there as well. At that point of time, you will be like stuck कि मुझे, if I don't know the basics, if I don't know all the steps, I won't be able to solve that particular thing, right? वहां पे आपको problem आती है, right? The problem is this. For that particular reason, I am teaching you this, because when I'll start, like obviously before telling you to write a sentence, I had to teach you abcd na. Same way we are doing it right now. I'm solving a normal equation just to give you idea how it would be solved, right? For example, let's suppose we have and 5x plus 8y, that is equal to 9, right? Fine. If I'm going to tell you find the value of x and y, what do you want to do? इसको आप किससे मल्टीप्लाई करोगे? If I tell you to eliminate x, किससे मल्टीप्लाई करोगे? 5 से, right? And this one you're going to multiply with what? This is 9, okay? 3, right? Similarly, if I tell you to eliminate y, दोनों को मैं सॉल्व कर लेता हूं, दोनों से आंसर हमारे पास आ जाएंगे. डोंट वरी. इट विल बी व्हाट? 35, and this will be what? 27. Subtract. Once you subtract, don't you think you will be getting the value of y? Right? Once you have the value of y, what do you need to do? किसी भी आप दोनों में से किसी भी इक्वेशन में आप y की वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट कर देना, विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ x, राइट? What if you wanna tell sir मुझे y को eliminate करना था? Nothing. Just instead of 5, what do you need to multiply here? 8, right? And instead of 3, 4. Why? Because y का जो coefficient है that will become what? 32 and 32. Right? Hello. Clear? This thing is clear now? You'll be able to solve, right? अब solve कर लोगे ना यहाँ से आप लोग? Fine.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? Now, अब आते हैं why I taught you the degree, like what is quadratic equation, what is cubic equation and all, what is the use of all this thing, right? Why we learn degree part, right? Let us understand that thing out slowly, slowly, ठीक है? मैंने बोला degree was what? Highest power in an equation, right? For example, everyone knows this is a quadratic equation. Even if you don't know, let's start with the simple one, right? A linear one, right? Linear means the degree is 1, for quadratic degree is 2, right? Now, what is the use of this degree? Let us understand, right? Fine. See, tell me one thing. If I'm gonna ask you what is the value of x, what is the value of x? Minus b by a. This everyone knows now. If anything is positive this side, if you took it to the other side, it will be negative. If it is in multiplication, it will be in division, right? This is the basic thing. I think everyone should be knowing this out, right? Fine. If I'm telling you degree is 1, how many value of x you are getting? Minus b by a. Now understand what is x equal to minus b by a. If you want to substitute instead of x minus b by a, what you are getting? 0, right? Now, here the terms is important, whatever I am using, right? X equal to minus b by a is factor or root of this equation. I'll explain it out, right? But just I'm trying to tell you कि x equal to minus b by a is factor or root, right? Now, if I come to the definition of factor or root, right, the value of x, which you substitute in this equation and the equation becomes 0, right? That is called factor or roots, right? For example, if I'm going to ask you what will be in this, right? So you're going to tell, sir, it won't be difficult for us to find out, right? But through degree, you can tell how many roots or how many factor would this equation would have, right? So this will be having how many roots or factor? Just one. Why? Because degree is 1, right? For this thing, how many factor or roots will be having? 2. Why? Because degree is 2. Right. Now, understand, if you're going to ask me, sir, what is the use of this particular thing? Why you're teaching us degree and roots and all, right? See, the question arises from there only. Find the roots, find the factors of this equation and all. Now, let me explain of you अपना कि why degree is coming to the factors of this quadratic equation, right? समझते हैं. Great, fine. So if I want to break, right? Obviously, there will be two variables. And let's suppose one is I'm just writing a random. This is not the factor of this, right? I'm just writing a random. मैं इसको आगे आपको explain कर दूंगा, but right now I'm just writing a random, right? Now tell me one thing. If I need x square, how many equation would I need in the terms of x? कितनी equation मुझे मिलेंगे with the terms of x? How many equation will be needing if I need x square? Obviously 2, because x into x is x square, right? You'll be needing 2 terms, right? So 1 0 would be what? Another one would be, right? So if I'm telling, like if equation has, let's suppose degree 3, or if I'm telling degree 3 means how many roots or factor would be 3. So how many individual equation of x will be needing? 3. That would be what? X plus a, x plus b, x plus c, right? So we can even tell it this is what? Root or factor of the equation, right? So root and factor is what? What value of x when you substitute in this equation and in the equation becomes 0. That value of x is called root or factor, right? I mean to say that जो भी value of एक्स जो आप इस इक्वेशन में पुट करोगे और ये इक्वेशन जीरो बन जाए, ठीक है, वो जो पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स है वो जीरो नहीं तो रूट कहलाता है इस दिस पर्टिकुलर इक्वेशन, राइट? तो इफ एनीवन गोना आस्क यू, आप यू नो कि व्हाट इज द रूट ऑफ दिस इक्वेशन, ऑब्वियसली व्हाट इज आस्किंग यू कि व्हाट वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स यू गोना सब्स्टिट्यूट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर इक्वेशन सो दैट दिस इक्वेशन विल बिकम जीरो। क्लियर? रूट की डेफिनेशन क्लियर है? इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेरी स्टिल नाउ यू कैन आस्क। यहां तक अगर कोई भी क्वेरी तो यू कैन आस्क, देन आई विल मूव अहेड। See, this is the basic thing. I'll teach it again when I'll be doing quadratic, right? Don't worry. But my point is कि आपको दिमाग में आ जाओ कि हाँ, this is the definition of this and this is how this has to be done. ठीक है? Any doubt still here? यहाँ तो कोई भी डाउट है? हेलो,
No, sir.
राइट, ठीक है। तो लेट अस नाउ गो थ्रू सम फॉर्मूलाज, फिर मैं वापस से आऊंगा लीनियर इक्वेशन इन टू वेरिएबल एंड पॉलिनोमियल, राइट? सम फॉर्मूलाज व्हाट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर, ठीक है? ये तो सबको पता होगा, एवरीवन विल बी नोइंग दिस, राइट? दिस इज द फॉर्मूला आइडेंटिटी ऑब्वियसली, राइट? राइट, फाइन, ये सबको आता होगा, राइट? नाउ व्हाट व्हाई आई एम राइटिंग दिस जस्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड, ठीक है? फॉर एग्जांपल इफ दे गोना यू नो व्हाट दे विल डू, see this formula you know, right? But sometimes what happen na, you'll be having a square plus b square, right? Fine, they are telling you to find the value of a plus a square plus b square, right? तो you want to tell sir हमें तो formula पता ही नहीं है यार, आपको formula पता है, you just need to think to find a square plus b square, what will be the step in this? Just shift it this side, right? What will be getting? This will come, everything will come, you know, this will come in quadratic equation, you know. फॉर्मूला देखो यार, ऑब्वियसली बात है, ए प्लस बी का होल स्क्वायर दे वोंट बी आस्किंग यू डायरेक्टली, ठीक है? ऐसा आपको डायरेक्टली नहीं पूछेंगे, ऑब्वियसली यू नो फंक्शन और एप्लीकेशन ऑफ दिस इक्वेशन विल कम, सो यू शुड रिमेंबर ऑल दिस इक्वेशन, ठीक है? ये आपको याद होना चाहिए। फिर या वन मोर थिंग यू शुड रिमेंबर, ए प्लस बी प्लस सी का होल स्क्वायर, राइट? दैट वुड बी ए स्क्वायर प्लस बी स्क्वायर प्लस सी स्क्वायर प्लस टू ए बी plus 2bc plus 2ca, right? Then you have a cube as well. Cube, I guess a plus b ka, there is whole cube, and a minus b, there is a whole cube, right? Fine. So this is nothing. This is a cube plus b cube plus 3ab into a plus b. Or if I need to write it out further, I can write it as 3a square b plus 3b square a, right? Similarly, this would be a cube minus b cube minus 3a square b plus 3a b square. Obviously, don't you don't need to write this all out, right? We'll provide you the formula sheet for the same, right? आपको लिखना नहीं, I'm just telling you आप कि ऐसे formulas आएंगे just to explain you up, right? Now try to understand. You might not get a plus b as a whole cube. You might get just a cube plus b cube, or you might just have 3b square a. So you need to think in this particular format कि आप इसको ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो. You can write this as well. This particular format as well. That will be the thing what you need to understand while solving any question in algebra. ये basically आपके क्वाड्रेटिक में ही आता है, और कहीं तो यूजुअली वहां उतना यूज नहीं होता क्वाड्रेटिक में, फाइंडिंग आउट द रूट्स एंड ऑल, वहां पे इट विल बी यूज, बट यू नीड टू नो कि इफ यू नो दिस फॉर्मूला फॉर a plus b का होल स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू a स्क्वायर प्लस b स्क्वायर प्लस 2ab, this can also be written as a square plus b square as what? A plus b square minus 2ab. फाइन, क्लियर, राइट? फाइन, ये हो गया। और कोई फॉर्मूलाज हैं क्या? हाँ, एक दिस वन आल्सो यू शुड नो, दैट इज a क्यूब प्लस b क्यूब, राइट? दैट इज a प्लस b इंटू a स्क्वायर माइनस ab प्लस b स्क्वायर. Similarly, you have a cube minus b cube, that is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square, right? This is the formulas what you should know, right? फाइन, मतलब याद है तो वेल एंड गुड है, नहीं भी मतलब इसका तो इतना यूज नहीं होता है यूजुअली। ये दिस वन इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट एंड दीज टू, this one is not used that much. I have not seen it even in question solving and all, but yeah, this you should know. right? Now, let's come to the other part of it, right? Again, linear equation in two variable, right? Let's suppose you have a two equation, right? Let us name it as one and let us name it as two, right? Fine. If I'm gonna tell you find the value of x and y, right? So there are three cases which occurs, right? Fine. One will be, one solution. What I mean by saying one solution, there will be only one value of x and y, x and y means one pair of x and y which will satisfy both the equation. This one as well as this one, right? This is called one solution. Then second thing, no solution, like you don't have any value of x and y which will be satisfying both the equation, right? And the third one, infinite solution, like they'll be what we say coincident, they'll lie on each other, right? There'll be infinite values, every value of x and y will be satisfying each other, right? Like that. There'll be many solutions like that, right? One solution, no solution, and many solutions, right? Fine. See, obviously they won't ask you this, but there is a condition, what you should know to for example, if you need to check. If they are telling you for one solution, right? See what happens in one solution now. This when you compare this ratio of x, coefficient of x, y, and constant term, right? Coefficient of x, so that would be what? A by d. Coefficient of y would be, and coefficient of, right? Now, if a by d is not equal to b by e, right? We don't have to consider this. अगर ये दोनों not equal आ गए, right? Directly tell this two equation would be how many solutions? Just one solution. Fine. Second thing is many solution. For that, all ratio should be equal. A by D would be equal to B by E would be equal to C by F, right? Now, I would have understood for the no solution case, what it would be. A by D is equal to B by E, but is not equal to C by F. Then we'll be having how many solutions? Then it will be no solution, right? Clear? Hello. This thing is clear, huh? Right, fine. Okay. Now let us understand one more thing, graph. Okay, how through graph we can tell the equation has many solution, zero solution, or no solution, like that, or one to one solution, right? Through graph, right? Now first let us understand how you have to draw the graph from an equation that what they have given you, right? Let's suppose they gave you an equation, right? Fine. Here is y-axis, this is x-axis, right? You know very well. If I need to write a point on this graph, first what you write? X. Second you write y. Fine. Now let's suppose I have to draw equation for this particular graph for this particular equation, right? What you need to do, just find two values of x and y, hit and try. First put x as 0. What will the value of y? 7. Then put y as 0. What is the value of x? 0, comma 7. Now put it on the number line, right? If I need to write 0, comma 7, what does it mean? X is 0. So in this particular y axis, x will be 0, right? So here somewhere it would be what? 0, comma 7. Similarly, if I need to write x 7, comma 0, that will lie where? Somewhere here in x axis. Right. What do you need to do? Just join these 2 points. Fine. So this will be the equation of what? This will be the graph of equation x plus y that is equal to 7, right? What we need to do? We just need to find 2 points. Put it on the graph and just draw the line. You will get the equation of that particular, line of that particular equation, right? Fine.
Hello,
Now this is
so I have a doubt.
bhai. हाँ.
So that we just have to put 0 for x and for
No,
y.
no,
So
you
I'll
can put
just find the
random value,
line.
random value. See, random value. See, what my point is now, what is being taught, right? Put value so that you will get an integer value. For example, in this particular equation, it is quite visible. अगर आप y को 3 भी रखते हो, ठीक है, तो आपके पास something, let's suppose 2 or 3 equation आ रही है, right? For example, जैसे I'm not going with 0, I'm going with some other values, x plus y is equal to 7, और मैं बोल रहा हूँ y को 2 रख दो भाई, ठीक है. If I put y as 2, what will the value of x 5? Right. Similarly, if I'm putting x as 1, what is the value of y? 6. Right. अब नंबर लाइन में आप ये इक्वेशन पुट कर दो. See, it's up to you what you need to write, what you need to put, right? 5, 2 means यहाँ पे कहीं पे 5, 2 आएगा, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2 somewhere here, right? Similarly, 1, 6 means 1 and 6 would be somewhere here, right? Draw this line, we'll get the number line, right? You can use any value. Usually,
Okay.
what we do now, like while drawing the graph and all, we select that particular value so that you should get an integer value of both x and y, right? So it will be easy for us to put on the number line. ठीक है, आप कुछ और भी सोच सकते हो. You can think of something because ये तो simple equation है. What if it would be 3x plus y is equal to 7, right? In this particular format, you need to think. Okay, fine, I need to think for some value of x or y, so that I should get a value of x and y in the form of integer. The reason behind that is, so that in number line we can plot it very clearly because हमारे पास कोई graph paper नहीं होता है, ठीक है? So in that particular scenario, you just have to use a white paper to draw the, this particular lines and all. इसमें अगर हमारे पास integer value आ जाती है, so it will be easier for us to put on the graph. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, fine. Now let us understand all the three things, like whatever we did, how it will be proved through graph. Let me do this. Right. First thing is one solution, right? Second thing is many solution, and the third one is no solution. Fine. If I'm talking about the one solution, obviously through ratios, what it was, that ratio, the coefficient of x and coefficient of y were not equal, right? इसमें क्या होगा आपका, लेट्स सपोज एक की लाइन ये है, राइट, और दूसरे की लाइन वुड बी लाइक दैट ना, कि द टू ग्राफ विल इंटरसेक्ट एट अ सिंगल पॉइंट ओनली. दे विल इंटरसेक्ट at only one point. Fine. If I'm talking about the many solution, right, the two graph will intersect, like coincident. पहला का भी ग्राफ, पहले के भी ग्राफ यही बनेगा, दूसरे वाले का भी ग्राफ would be the same. This one only. Both would be same, right? Both will lie on the same line like that, right? No solution means एक ग्राफ आपका ऐसा जाएगा, एक ग्राफ आपका समथिंग ऐसा जाएगा. They won't be intersecting at any point, right? So this intersection, like if you need to find out the solution through graphs, you just need to look how many points this graph is intersecting. For example, इसमें कितने points पे intersect कर रहा है? Just one. इस पे तो पूरा lie कर रहा है, right? So there will be too many solutions, too many values would be there, right? इसमें it is not intersecting at all, right? So in this particular case, how many solution would you would be having? No solution. Hello, clear यहाँ तक? This thing is clear,
Yes, sir.
right? तो linear equation में max to max they go up to this limit only, ठीक है? Then there is something called polynomial. उस पे आने से पहले कुछ बताना है क्या? नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो. या एनीवेज लेट अस सी पॉलिनोमियल, ठीक है? पॉलिनोमियल इज नथिंग, इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ ऑल द डिग्रीज. फॉर एग्जांपल, वन को आप लोग क्या बोलते हो? आई गेस वन को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? लीनियर, राइट? टू को यू कॉल इट एज क्वाड्रेटिक, थ्री को यू कॉल इट एज क्यूबिक, फोर को यू कॉल इट एज बाइक्वाड्रेटिक, राइट? लाइक दैट, राइट? नाउ पॉलिनोमियल में क्या यूज होता है? नाउ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. See, I won't stretch it much. This will be the last topic what I'll be teaching you. After that, we'll do it on the next class. Obviously, we'll start with percentage, right? Now, polynomial is something, like for example, let's suppose I gave you a quadratic equation, okay? And I'm telling you, like find the value of x. So you can tell how many value will be there? Two, right? Fine. So what you need to do, for example, let's suppose You don't know, like how to find the factorization. We don't know anything yet, right? Obviously, I'll teach you in quadratic, I'll teach you in the cubic and all. Now you don't know anything, right? So in this particular scenario, what you need to do, you need to check it out through hit and trial. Okay. What you can do? Start putting the value of x as 1 minus 1. So see, if you have a cubic equation, if you have something, like a big equation, trust me, obviously in that particular equation na, one root will be from this 1 minus 1 or 2 or minus 2. कोई एक ना एक रूट इसमें से होगा ही होगा फॉर श्योर, because obviously they don't want you to stretch it for more, or they don't want it to make it lengthy, right? So if you have an equation, let's suppose, obviously quadratic to solvable hota hai. Quadratic mein to you need to do using the factorization and all. We'll be learning that as well. But my point is here just to explain you up, ki if you don't know the zeros or you don't know the roots, right, and they have given you a polynomial equation, they're asking you find the roots of this particular equation, right? So you have to go through hit and try. Hit and trial is what, start substituting value of x. First, take it as 1, take it as minus 1, take it as 2, take it as minus 2, right? Whatever value gonna substitute, gonna satisfy. Satisfy means, for example, whatever the value you're gonna put out of all these four values, and this equation turns up to 0. ये जो आपके पास इक्वेशन है एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस बी एक्स प्लस सी, राइट, दिस बिकम्स 0, राइट? So what we can tell, this particular value is what? Zero or factor or roots, right? There are three terms: zeros, root, or factor, right? Fine. If one is factor of this particular thing, right? One. So if I need to write this one in the form of equation, so x is 1, right? So what will be the equation? X minus 1 will be root of this, right? If it is x equal to minus 1, minus 1 is satisfying. So what you gonna tell? Okay, sir, x equal to minus 1 is 0 or root of this particular equation, right? So what will be the equation? X plus 1. Hello, right? Clear? Fine. So you now one root, right? You know one root. What do you need to do? Just divide it by x plus 1. See, division I'll teach you in the next class. My point was just to, let you know the definition of all these things and all, right? Before starting percentage, obviously I'll teach you the division as well, how to divide and how to find the other root as well. My point was here just to, remind you up, okay, this is what is in this thing, because algebra is something that many people find difficult. The reason behind that is उनके basics clear नहीं होते हैं, ठीक है? Because if I tell you ना quadratic, or even I talk about inequality function, इसमें formulas बहुत limited होते हैं, बहुत limited होते हैं, ठीक है? Formula is very limited, but formula is very less, right? It's all about the concept and understanding. When I say concept and understanding, I mean to say that how much you can think, how much deep you can think. For example, when I wrote that particular equation in front of you, right? अब इसको आप कितने तरीके से सोच सकते हो ना? For example, if you have a square plus b square, you can even write it as like this. Fine. Similarly, if I need to find out, like for example, let's suppose value of 2ab. So even I can write it as what? Fine. So this is what you need to understand. The formula would be very limited, but how to use, where to use, how we can use it out, right? That's what you need to understand, right? This is all about the basic things what I need to teach you before going into depth and all. I just had to teach you division part of polynomials, that I'll do in the next class. After that, we'll wanna start with percentage. I'm not starting with quadratic. The reason behind that is what I feel na ki still people are enrolling, right? So starting with some chapter that would be a little bit difficult for you to understand to others as well, So it's better we start with percentage. Next class will be of DILR, not today. Obviously, I'll let you know the timing. In that, obviously, we're gonna start with the easiest topic, that is arrangement. Obviously, simple, I would say simple questions and all, just to give you a basic idea, right? See, try to understand basics in DILR would be some topic, like for example, Venn diagram, capsulets, arrangement and all, just to give you a basic idea, how to start this particular question. But when we'll come to actual DILR, what I mean to say by actual DLR, four sets, four different sets, and like approach for four sets will be quite different, right? That will be a little bit, tricky. That will be a little bit, trouble for you, right? So be prepared with that particular set. Right now, what you can do, Joe, obviously from tomorrow onwards, I'll again start resuming daily, sending daily puzzles and all. You can solve it out. Plus, please, you can even try solving Sudoku, like filling up the numbers in the box and all. Some puzzle game, like puzzle game means, in which there will be 6 to 7 things given and you need to use it to form a single equation. Sudoku आप खेल सकते हो, right? प्लस डेली जो आपके पास पजल्स आएंगे यू कैन इवन सॉल्व दैट आउट एज वेल, बिकॉज अभी बेसिक्स में तो बहुत बेसिक्स हम चलेंगे, लाइक बेसिक मीन्स it is not even 20% what will come in the cat level, right? Because this is what I need to teach you just to give you a basic idea. Usually I don't take all this thing, but right now I have to, because this is what usually people do. But हम जब actual DLR set में आएंगे, this will be way ahead from what I'll be teaching you in the basics, and why that will be way ahead, because obviously that is the concept that no one can cover up. It can be only solved at that point of time with particular, like information what they have given. Try to understand DLR is something in which you have to extract all the information from the points they have given you, right? अब आप उसको कैसे यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो, कैसे यूज कर सकते हो, दिस व्हाट यू हैव टू लर्न, दिस व्हाट आई विल गोना टीच यू, राइट? So obviously next class will be of DLR, then we'll be having a VRC class as well, in which we'll start with RC. I'll just tell you the strategy, how to solve RC, how to solve parajumble, parasummary and all, like these things and all. We'll be continuing for some days before a regular class will start, like sheets and all will be providing you, right? So obviously मैं like daily target कल से will resume, for the DLR as well as for the what do you say, VRC. DLR will provide you just one puzzle for now. After like 2 weeks, we're gonna start it by two puzzles. VRC the same as well. Whatever you will be getting, same as well it would be, right. Then yes, after some time, after this week, I will say you'll be having two classes a day. One will be of DLR, one will be of cons, the other one will be of DLR, the other one will be of VRC, like that, right? So that will be deciding from the next week, what classes we'll be having. Plus sheets and all will be providing you once we complete a topic. Even if we have completed half of that topic, we'll provide you that as well. Now if you have any queries regarding the things what I have taught, I can either DM me up, or the next class हम start करेंगे, ठीक है? और उसमें starting में you can just open your mic and can directly ask, sir, I have a doubt in this particular thing, can you explain that again? I did not understood whatever you told me, right? Fine. ठीक है, that's all for today. Let's see you guys again in DLR class, obviously with the basic thing. Now don't even if you are missing all these classes now, that's quite well. You can even cover through this recording, because this is something basics what everyone knows, to be honest, right? ठीक है, so see you guys tomorrow. Right, with the DLR part, I'll update the timing in the class itself, and DLR again will be going through the basics only, right? Not that much depth and all, right? Just to give you a overview, what exactly